Hi, I'm Mark, and today we have to talk about racism and xenophobia in Britain again. There are again allegations of racial discrimination and humiliation against the British police. A published report by child welfare officer Rachel de Souza shows police officers carried out a total of 2,847 strip searches of children and young people aged 10 to 17 in England and Wales between 2018 and mid-2022. Measured against the proportion of the population, it was 6 times more likely to black children to be checked. In more than half of the cases, no adult confidant was present. In 95%, boys were affected. De Souza spoke of evidence of a deeply concerning practice with widespread non-compliance with legal protections. She criticized that children and young people were being abandoned by those who had to protect them. The investigation was commissioned after a 15-year-old black student was forced to strip and searched for drugs at her London school, even though she was on her period. The parents had not been informed and no teacher were present. Drugs were not found, by the way. The Church of England agency, the Children's Society, said the results showed that black children were disproportionately exposed to this traumatizing and intrusive practice. The charity Runnymede Trust called for strip search powers of the police to be removed. Negative tyrannical encounters with state institutions only breed further distrust and are the reason police fail in our communities, the organization said. Just a week ago, an investigative report by the London police accused them of being institutionally racist. In the vast majority of cases, with 86%, those being searched are suspected of having drugs with them. 9% revolve around guns and 2% around theft. In almost a quarter of the cases, the suspected objects were not found. Of course, the new asylum law fits well into this picture. The Conservative British government plans to tighten its asylum law. Then anyone who enters the island without permission will be detained and deported. The United Nations Refugee Agency is now worried that this could set a global precedent. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, the UNHCR, has criticized the planned British asylum law as a breach of international law. It goes against the UK's obligations under the International Refugee Convention, as the UNHCR's UK representative Vicky Tennant told Sky News on Sunday. We are very concerned that this will set a global precedent and effectively wipe out the right to asylum in the UK for almost all refugees. Tennant stressed that the focus must be on this asylum system so that applications can be processed quickly. And today, while I'm filming this, Parliament in London is again debating the Asylum Act. It provides for the detention of all people entering the UK unwanted, regardless of their background, for up to a month. They are then to be deported to their homeland or, if that would be too dangerous, to Rwanda or another country. The right to apply for asylum should be taken away from them. Under former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Great Britain had signed a controversial agreement with East African Rwanda to fly asylum seekers there. This should discourage people from making the dangerous English Channel crossing. For years, London has been trying to prevent illegal and often, as I said, dangerous entry via the English Channel. The growing number of unwanted people crossing the English Channel into the country is a thorn in the side of the Conservative British government in particular. They had announced that they would take back control of their own border after Brexit and is now under pressure from the right wing of the Tory party. Because of the exit from the EU, Great Britain no longer has any readmission agreements with EU countries. Critics accuse the government of exaggerating the problem to please Conservative voters. Significantly fewer asylum applications are made in Great Britain than, for example, in Germany here. The implementation of the agreement with Rwanda has failed so far, though. A flight with migrants to the East African country planned for June 2022 was cancelled at short notice after a ruling by the European Court of Human Rights. In December, the London High Court then ruled that the deportations to Rwanda were lawful, but the project is still the subject of appeals. The British government has therefore already declared that it intends to deport unwanted migrations to Rwanda and other countries, even if the European Court of Human Rights, the ECHR, prohibits this at short notice. The Telegraph newspaper reported that a clause was built into a recently introduced law that allows injunctions under Rule 39 of the ECHR to be ignored. Yeah, and once again, they single-sidedly decide this. The Conservative government is currently trying to raise the hurdles for the applications and negotiations with the court in Strasbourg. With Rule 39, the judges prevented a first deportation flight to Rwanda in East Africa in 2022, as I said earlier. And but seriously, they are changing their home laws to ignore international law, as long as they are under the jurisdiction of the ECHR, and they are. They cannot make these changes in their home law and say, yeah, that also changes international law. They tried this with Brexit, and then they're trying this again. But talking about Brexit was another big sign for the racism and xenophobia part, because many of the people voting for Brexit said that they are voting for Brexit because they don't want foreigners in their country anymore. And that is just another sign, but this didn't work out as well as they thought. But xenophobia has become a really big problem. And when I say xenophobia, I mean some are xenophobic, some are racist. And I'm not looking very bright to the near future. On the long run, I hope that the young people who were all in favor of the EU will be the future reasonable population in Britain, but that is not the case yet. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.